All right, let's get this started. Let's open up a fresh Blender. And just click anywhere and you have this fresh cube. I'm assuming you already know the basics at the very least, so I'm just gonna glaze over the facts. You should have um, this one, this add-on by now, the MMD tools. So to get that one going, let me turn on my screencast. Yep, that one. You can actually see my buttons now. Here. So here you have the little screencast, and up here you're gonna be able to see the keyboard of any key press I type. So it should be easier for you to like to follow. So let's end up with you can delete all this. I select them all and press X delete, or you can just press the delete key and it will go away. For most part, you're gonna be using them later on. So what I end up doing is just making a new collection. Just hide that one. Select the new collection, and anything you port in is gonna be inside the new collection. You can press F2 while you're inside this window, and F2 is so you can rename things. Let's call this MMD model. All right, here, open up with this tab. We're pressing N. Go to your import. You're gonna go to your drive and select where do you have your model. In my case, I have it somewhere. In here. Okay, and there she is. All right, so if you want to do something, some kind of editing to the model, and you have like real world scale, you're gonna go here in the scale value and go 0.08, and that's gonna bring your model within like real size. So all your units in Blender are gonna be appropriate. If you are just going to do like a simple edit, then scale of 1 to 1. Yeah, like in this case, just in case, let's do a 0.8, like for reference for the future. Let's go. Do you need to press anything else except for that? Go to import. And wait for it. There we go. Alright, and for some reason she's not at center line. Huh. Let me check that in AMD. Drop her in. She's not. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure if this is going to give you a problem or not. But the model's supposed to be here. Yeah, so not sure how you manage to do that without doing the editing the model away from it. So I'm not gonna touch that. Okay. So right here we wanna fix the garter belts, getting to be closer towards the skin. So if you select the model, it's one big mesh. To select the individual items, we need to go over here and press the separate by materials. Wait for it, and it's gonna break the model apart. All right, so now the model is orange, and hey, this thing's a different piece. It is. Great. Okay, so the whole model is now separated into different sections. So to move the model, or the two pieces, you press G, and now you can move things around. If you scale with S, you move things like so, but as you can see, it's like scaling in a direction. In Blender, everything revolves from its origin point. And the origin point is this tiny little orange dot. So it's closer. If I get, it's still a big dot. And so if we scale something from here, you can see this arrow or this dashed line pointing straight towards the center of the origin point. And everything is scaled from that point. In this instance, we don't want the center point here. We want it here on the model. So how you fix that is you select your mesh, right click, and set origin, and you want it to set it to geometry. And now the center point, as you can see, it's now right here, right smack of the center of both of the garter belts. Now if I scale by pressing S, see now everything scales from that point. So it's a whole lot easier to like modify things around. But in this case, since it's whatchamacallit, mirror, it's a bit annoying because it goes from the center. All right, so that's a little fix when you have some scaling issues. All right, now let's move on to actually fixing this. If you want to see your materials, you can press C, and down here material preview, and now you're gonna see the preview of the materials. The reason why you see this is because the model is looking for its tune texture, and in Blender that is not doesn't follow. To fix that, you're gonna go to your MMD tab, press that one, and then you're gonna see a different tab called miscellaneous. So in this case, go misc. Press that one, and unselect the tune texture. And with that, you should see everything except for the tune. And for some reason, the garter belt, it's totally transparent. Huh. Okay, so it must have a pretty intense transparency for Blender. And anything that's pink, it's usually because it's missing a texture. We can go over here on the this little red and black circle and scroll all the way down, and down here says MMD textures and MMD materials. Alright, so this one's set to entirely black. And most likely this material's not existent. Let's see, textures, Gartebel, PNG, textures. Is here, oh, here it is. Huh. Okay, so for some reason it's not actually reading it. It is a PNG. Either way, doesn't matter for her, as long as MMD is reading it and MMD is reading it. So there it is. Okay, so let's go back to solid view so we can actually see everything. So we want this one slightly closer. So there's two ways of doing it. You will go sculpting. You press sculpt. Okay, first of all, you have to select the material. So whatever is highlighted in orange, that's your material, that your mesh that's selected. You will go to sculpting. Over here are your brushes. The one you usually want to grab is this one. It's called Elastic Deform. Right? So to adjust your brush size, since right now it's pretty darn small, you go press F and move your mouse left or right, because up and down really doesn't do it. So left goes bigger, and no, wait, right goes bigger, left makes it smaller. So around here. To select the intensity of your brush, you will right click and you have this little menu. This little menu will also have your intensity of the brush right here, right? The size of the brush. So you can either press F, which is the hotkey for it, which is a whole lot easier than to like right clicking and trying to get that. The strength of it, that means it has a gradient. So let's say, let's go to about 10. So you see the tiny little circle and the big circle in the middle. So the middle circle, it's going to be grabbing the mesh, and it has going to have a gradient from the center up to the bigger radius, the bigger diameter of the circle. So it's going to have a fall off. So here, it like has a, I can't really tell from this. How good is the topology? Oh, it's very, very small poly. Okay. So if I move one vertex, a whole lot of the things move. So this little explanation doesn't quite work on this part. All right. So either way, to move it, you go like that. Usually well to keep it around 50%. And now what you want to do, you grab this, and as you can see, we bring all of it at once. And to move it around, it's going to be a pain in the ass. What you want to do is you want to mirror it. So whatever you do on one side, it's going to have it on the second side as well. So let me undo. All right. So up here, you have your symmetry. Press X, this X, and now you see two little dots, one on the right and one on the left. So whatever you do now, it's gonna have the mirror effect on the other side. So on these situations, we just want the the stockings tips to be just close enough to the skin, and all you have to do is like mess with it. Just go here, in, and once you see a clip, just grab it, pull it out, grab it, pull it out, just click and drag out. And here you want to grab in. And I'm just going to make it smaller, so I'm grabbing too much. Okay, but I'm assuming here's the model is not entirely symmetrical, because in this side it looks good, and yet on this side is clipping. So this leg is further to one side than the other one. All right, so pretty much this is all you have to do is grab your mesh, and fix things. Okay, so it's clipping, move it over here. All right, so nice. So that's the one way of doing some adjustments. Okay, so I can adjust that one as well, since it's like hanging down a bit. So we'll press up here in the layout, so we can go out of sculpting, or you can press Control and Tab, and you have these menus you can do. So to go back to sculpting, go here, weight paint, vertex, text paint, and so forth. You want to move things around in object mode, which is this one. Let's go here, and instead of pressing sculpting, let's do our wheel. Let's go here, and Let's press that. Let's go back to elastic. And grab that. Grab that. Okay, scroll out. That looks good. Alright, so I'm not sure if you want to keep that one there, but if you don't, let's go to layout. Just grab that. To adjust that one, once again, you just go to sculpt. You want to make sure you're on X mirror. It's every time you select a brand new mesh, it will sometimes disable this, as it's doing right now. It's like every time I move out, it's turning it off. You just make sure you have the two dots, one on the right and one on the left. So you want to move this, you can do it. So here, okay, Control undo it. Okay, press that. So just like that, you're able to modify clothing in Blender. Let's select the whole model, press A, select, go to MMD tools, and we want to export it. I'm gonna copy where I have it saved, where I grabbed it from. Paste the address. Here it is, and then we put 02. Now, if I export the model a 1:1 scale, it's going to be a tiny little model because we scaled it down so it can fit a Blender scale and real world scales. We want to now expand it back up to MMD size, and that is up here. Scale, and the scale value is 12.5. 12.5, you press export, and now the model, it's going to be at okay, there we go. Model is exported over here, and let's move this one to the right, bridge to that one. Let's bring in our new model. Let's turn off that so we can see. And see, our new old model had the this part of the guardrail like kind of floating away. And now still can do a little bit more adjustments if you want, but it's mostly pretty well attached to the model now. Okay, so there you go. That's how you adjust it. That's how you adjust it with sculpting. Let's do it via mesh editing. the second way of doing it. So let's select the mesh here, and now we're gonna press tab, and now we're in wireframe. For this particular one, I'm going to get rid of the color of the, so we can actually see the vertex. All right, so here are your points. Okay, so you want to press this little guy, and you have this little wheel. Okay, so this is gonna be like pretty close to your sculpting, but a bit more precise. And how that works is you want to press G to grab things around. As you can see, the whole thing moves. That's because the brush is huge, has this instance. To adjust it, you either move your mouse up, and let me see, the screen keys got turned off. Okay, I didn't see when they got turned off, but okay, so as long as this guy's on, you can either scroll up or scroll down. Huh. How big is this thing? There we go. I was scrolling up, and the keys got turned off again. All right, so you see this circle. So this little circle is gonna have a little radius from the center of it and up to the edges. So you have more control. You'll make it bigger, and the more it would pull. Want it to have it smaller. And as you can see, I have less control over the surrounding meshes, up until like only have control over one little spot. Make it bigger, and it'll start growing. All right, so I was just grabbing a single vertex. You wanna grab a face, you go over here, or press your key 2. And now you have a bigger selection. You want to grab faces, you grab that one. And to cycle between all three is 1 for individual vertex, 2 for edges, and 3 for faces. So 1, 2, 3, depending on what you want. Most of the time, you're gonna be using edges, because then you can grab multiple edges and only have affect those, and not the whole entire thing. So doing it like this, you have way more control than you would with sculpting, because here you can actually see your edges. But as you can see, you notice that I have a symmetry, and it's not doing any effect to the other side. So that's one of the downsides of doing it this way. It's that whatever you do on one side, you're gonna have to do it on the other side. So this is more precise, but for things like mirroring, it's finicky. To fix that, And if you know they're perfectly mirror, you select it, press L, and what I will do is delete. So delete everything from here. I will go over here to your range and select mirror. And now this mesh doesn't actually exist, but it's a perfect mirror of the other side. So if you know it's a mirror, you can just get rid of the mesh, add the mirror modifier, and voila, you have a perfect copy. You don't have to mess with that one at all, as long as you fix the first one the way you want it. Okay. All right. So another thing that you can do other than just graph, right? You can also press G to graph and R to rotate. Okay, you can rotate your mesh. You can actually grab it by the vertex and press R. It will just rotate it depending on your camera view. You can grab the face and rotate the bigger section that way. Another thing you can do is press G and lock it in the 3 axis that we have. So you can lock it on C axis, and no matter how you move your mouse, it's gonna be locked on that axis. Press X, it's gonna lock it on that axis, and it will only move it so. Press Y, and it's going back and forth. Okay, so let me move this way again. So G, Y. So you can see it's only going straight on that one axis. You can also rotate and lock it on a specific axis. This one is locked into the rotation on C axis. Lock it on X axis. And lock it on Y axis. So if you want more fine controls, you have those. And okay, so this will actually cover the 2 ways you can modify your materials. So we went, let's press tab to get out of there. So let's say we cover how to import a model. We cover how to export a model with the proper scale. We cover how to move the model with sculpting and using the move brush. Undo. And we cover how to move your materials using the proportional editing. And to trigger that one, you can either press this little icon or press the O button. That turns it on and off. So if that's on, press G to move it. and scroll up, makes it bigger, scroll down, makes it smaller. This thing is like really nice to have. If you have it off, then that little radio gradient it's not available. So you whatever you grab, that's the only thing that's going to be affected. So press that one on. So that's the difference between on and off. And this will actually cover it. Turn this and turn off the recording.